Hi, my name is Nick Wilson, and today I'm here with Dr. William C. Wilson, who has agreed to talk about their experiences on 9/11. Dr. Wilson,
Hello.
how are you doing today?
Oh, pretty good.
Can you give me a little recap of who you are and your background?
I just retired after 40 years in the medical practice. Former Navy physician. Um, that's most of me right there.
Excellent, excellent. I'll start with the first question here. Where were you on 9/11, and what were you doing?
I was driving from one hospital to another to do rounds, and your mother called me, and she said that a plane went into the World Trade Center. And I was explaining to her it was probably someone doing instrument training, and somebody wasn't paying attention and the plane went into the World Trade Center. I didn't know how big the plane was. I thought it was a small plane.
Mhm.
And in between that, your mother started giving me updates and saying that planes were being hijacked. And so I was trying to tell her at that point that, well, somebody's going to be making a trip to Cuba as they did back in the 70s for hijacking.
Yeah,
And then the next second, your mother screams out that a plane went into the other World Trade Center. And I said, well, a history lesson's over with. We're at war with somebody.
oh God.
Michael, Nick, yes.
Um, what did you and the people you were with think was happening?
We didn't know. I mean, two planes going into the World Trade Center was something that was un unheard of. Remember, the World Trade Centers were two huge spires, which defined, along with like the Empire State Building, the New York skyline.
Hmm.
So everybody knew about it.
Hmm. Um, what did you think about that night?
Well, by the time that night had happened, we learned that another plane went into the Pentagon, and I'm Navy. So when we used to call the Pentagon View God, because that's where God lived,
Hmm.
anything that happened importantly, and we thought that is ballsy for somebody to try to take out the Pentagon.
Yeah.
I mean, take out the White House, take out the Capitol. Okay, I can understand that sort of, but the Pentagon, that was like, no, no, that's. I was shocked. I was like, my mother had been hit.
Yeah. Oh my God.
We were terrified at that point. Remember, I have kids. My kids are in school and school age kids. And as a protector of my family, now I'm thinking, what do I defend? There's no enemy like the Japanese at Pearl Harbor,
Hmm.
or it was something that definitely moved us. We were stuck on the TV, couldn't let the TV go
Hmm.
24/7 for the next 3 or 4 days, trying to unpeel everything that happened. When the World Trade Centers went down, that was even scarier because you knew that so many people, like 3 or 4 thousand people died
God.
at that day. And that didn't include the people on the airplanes.
How was the world different the next day for you?
Um, I think for me and the rest of the world, I think especially for America, it was one of the few times where America actually had the sympathy of the rest of the world. We're usually pretty hard nosed about everything, and at this point, we they killed a bunch of Americans, but remember that there were every nationality on the World Trade Centers too. So in a way, it was like the whole thing happened to everyone.
Hmm. Um, how did your understanding of the word terrorism change?
It changed from something that happens over there to something that happens over here. You know, going through World War I, World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, we've always been isolated as a country.
Hmm.
against things that happened to us. All of a sudden, this happened here in places that I'm aware of, that I've walked by, that I've walked into. It was I was more aware of that my family wasn't as safe as they were the day before.
Hmm. What do you think of terror? What do you think terrorism is now?
The problem about it is now is that the world is so condensed. Now we hear something that happens in London, Spain, Germany. It's like it happens here when
Hmm.
they had the Arab Spring. It was like it was brought into our homes. You know, terrorism now. Well, here goes some other ones too. In Pensacola, we had a terrorist attack on the base
Hmm.
where about 3 or 4 people were killed, and eventually the guy was a Saudi officer
Hmm.
who landed up actually shooting his phone because it had information on it before he died. So, when I hear about Pensacola police in Florida, which is where we lived for 40 years, having to go to a terrorist attack, that comes home pretty hard.
Hmm.
My kids go out to the beach there,
Hmm.
at Pensacola Beach. My kids go places where I'm worried about my kids going to the movie theaters and somebody shooting up the movie theater.
Yeah.
Schools, it's brought it so much from it's over there and now it's over here, and I don't feel as insulated as I used to.
Hmm.
You know, that's one of the reasons why I joined the military was to protect my family and my country. But I always knew that if I had to do something, I'd go there,
Yeah.
not here.
Well, I appreciate your time today with this interview, and um,
Well, I know earlier I brought up something that the change was like the Hindenburg going down.
yeah.
And we all have pictures of that in our brain of the announcer crying, oh, the humanity. Because you just thought, that was, oh my God, hell just came to my front door. And I don't want that for my children, for you and your children. I want our country to be free. There's something that someone mentioned a long time ago, is that somebody can come from Germany. Like, well, and put it this way, you can go to Germany, but you're not going to become German. You can go to France, but you're not going to become French. If you come from any other country and come here, you can become American.
Hmm.
And that means a lot to me because we are a melting basket.
Hmm.
We take everybody's things from wherever they came from. We have Italian clubs. We have my mother-in-law is a war bride from England from World War II, and she has clubs where people get together. And they went through some hellish times. When the Germans were invading Britain, that wasn't some small little thing. They were actually looking up in the air and watching air battles.
Hmm.
And every time a plane went down, that was some man who died, whether it
Yeah.
was a German or a Brit, or as my uncle was from Canada, my Uncle Charlie, he fought in the Battle of Britain.
Hmm.
Didn't want to talk about it much, too. I don't want a Battle of Britain over here.
Yeah.
I believe in our country. I believe in the people of our country. Now, the government is another total story. We'll have another day.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I appreciate it so much.
Okay. I love you.
I love you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Are we off?